Good morning, everyone. I welcome you all to another episode of Engineering with Shamil. And today we are going to explore on a fire incident which actually took place in a building which is located in a place called Aliganj in Lucknow, Uttar Pradesh, in India. And this incident occurred last week, that is on 22nd of June 2026. It happened at around 2:45 p.m. in the afternoon, and around 15 people, 15 victims died to the died because of the fire. So let us see what all happened in during that fire incident and what are the lessons that we can learn from the fire incident. So I am intending to create a series out of it, so it's going to be a 16 episode series. And in today's episode we are just going to briefly discuss on what all were the observations that were found based on the newspaper reports. The official report is not yet out because they are still preparing the official report, and today we and all the information which is present in the slides were actually based on the several newspaper reports. So today's episode we are going to briefly see what all happened during that incident and what were the witness accounts and what are the observations that were made during the fire. So the incident, as I said, it took place last week. That is on 22nd June 2026, and it was observed that 15 people were dead. Okay. Now in that building, it was a three-story building. That is at ground, first, and second, and there was only one staircase which was connecting to all the three floors. There was only one staircase, and there was no alternate exit routes. There was no emergency exit routes. So let us see what all were the details that we have. So the location of the fire actually took place in Aliganj, in the place called Aliganj. Aliganj is located in Lucknow, which is in Uttar Pradesh, which is the state of Uttar Pradesh in India. And the date of the incident took place. Date of the incident which took place was 22nd June 2026. The time was 2:45 p.m. in the afternoon. It was local time, and the building was actually located in a densely populated commercial neighborhood. That is, it was actually in the town, so where there were other buildings and there were other things happening, and then so it's actually too crowded. That's what we understand from the reports. Now, as I said, the building was three stories high. So, in the ground floor of the building, there was a pet shop located, as per the report. And in the first and second floor, there was a animation and 3D gaming center. So, in that animation and 3D gaming center, there were trainees and there were also employees as well. In some of the reports, it was saying that one of the floor was being used for the entrance exam coaching purpose. Okay, so this is the information that we have, and all the three floors, that is ground, first, and second, were connected using a single staircase only. There was only one staircase, and there was no emergency exits. There was no fire escapes. There was no alternate staircase. There was no external ladders, etc. So this is the information that we have about the building. Now, what happened during the time of fire? Now, the cause of fire is not observed, is not detected. It's still under investigation. Okay, so what happens is by 2:45, the fire starts breaking. The fire breaks out, and the flames, whatever flames you see, that engulfs the entire staircase within minutes. Now, because of that, what happens is toxic smoke, it spreads rapidly through the building. Okay, everywhere it was spreading so rapidly. Okay, and the sole exit route, that is the only exit route, which was staircase, was completely blocked because people were not able to see which was the exit route, and they were having difficulty in breathing while breathing. They were having difficulty in breathing, so they were not able to move actually. Okay, and everyone above the ground floor was actually trapped. So some of the witnesses states that based on the witness accounts, it was noted that people who were there inside the building, they were screaming for help from windows. They were shouting, they were screaming, they were howling and all. Okay, and some of the people, they escaped by using the live power cables, which was located near the building. Okay, and that's very dangerous because since the power cables were in live condition, people choose that it was already a danger. They are already trapped in danger, and they are using another thing to to electrocute themselves. Then some of the people, they actually jumped from upper floors. They actually literally they jumped, and some of the people, they actually threw stones to break the glass panes. Okay, the bystanders, that is the people who were outside, they had to rescue 5 6 people directly, and one jumper, he actually survived, but one person who had jumped from the building, he survived, but with serious injuries. Okay, so these are some of the witness accounts. Now, people who were there inside the building, yes, they had a challenge. The same time, the firefighters also had challenges. Now, what were the challenges that the firefighters faced? The firefighters, one of the challenges that firefighters faced was that, as I said before, the building had only one main entrance. So the firefighters had to use that one main entrance to get inside the building. But they could not use because it was completely blinded. They were blinded by the smoke. It was very difficult to go through the staircase and rescue the victims. So what the firefighters had to do was, the firefighters had to breach, that is, they had to make a hole in the side wall to gain entry. Okay, that was one option that they had taken. The another option that they had to take was, they had to go to an adjacent building, go to the roof of the adjacent building, and then jump to the terrace. Go to the terrace of the adjacent building, and then jump to the neighboring building. This is what happened. And this is the another what do we say another option that they chose. And because of this, now this decision was not taken instantaneously. There was a delay actually. So rescue operations basically delayed because of the lack of building access. So whenever a firefighter has to go inside a building, there should be a route dedicated for the emergency exit, so the firefighters and the victims can actually use that route during the time of an emergency. Okay, but since they could not find an alternate route inside the building, they had to delay the rescue operations were delayed. So one thing that we realized is that time lost in entry means that only few lives could survive. So this is what happens during the these were the some of the challenges that the firefighters faced, especially with regards to the access of the building. Now, what happened? What was the end result of this fire? The end result of this fire is that 15 people were confirmed to be dead, as per the reports. So it included students, trainees, and employees. Then dozens were injured, and based on the building status, whoever has constructed the building, who was involved in the safety of the building, who was involved in the approval of the permits, building permits, 4 people were arrested in connection with the fire. Okay, and 4 public officials were suspended. Okay, and the government has ordered a state level inquiry for the incident occurred, and the police has filed charges over the arrested people over acts of causing or endangering life. Okay, so these were some of the actions. These were some of the incidents that happened after the fire. After the fire took place, these are some of the actions that the officials have taken. So this particular case is not a new case. It's not an isolated case. It's not an isolated case. In India, it happens. In India, there were several cases that actually take place in a similar manner. Okay, so the reasons were also quite similar. So the last case that took place was actually less than a month before, which was in Delhi. And in Delhi, there was actually a hotel. There was actually a homestay. In that homestay, it was supposed to be a homestay for 6 people. But when the fire broke out, what happened was that it was later when the fire broke out, we came to know that through the newspaper reports that the homestay was actually illegally constructed for 25 people. The actual occupancy was supposed to be 6 rooms, but they have constructed for 25 rooms, and this was violating the permits, which was not supposed to happen. So the repeated violations of the fire safety rules occur in India. Okay, and this was actually not a new thing. Okay, and systemic failure in the enforcement of systemic failure in enforcement of existing fire codes, that was there, and the safety was the renewed concerns about no this particular incident. It actually renewed concerns about safety in densely occupied buildings. That is, whatever buildings. Sorry. So it's still like whatever buildings are constructed in these densely populated areas, the safety issues were still a concern. So that is one challenge that the authorities have to face. Actually, the thing is that the implementation of the fire code actually happened recently. Not recently, it's been there, but no one took seriously on how to make the existing buildings, that is all buildings, fire protected. Okay, so no one has taken that initiative. So because of that only, many of these incidents are taking place. So even if you see for the last couple of months, there were so many fire incidents that happened, be it factories, be it buildings like these, be it illegally constructed buildings and all. So how can we implement fire measures? What are steps that needs to be taken? This is the challenge that we as fire engineers need to face. So, as I said before, it's going to be a series of 16 episodes. So, in this series, based on the information that we get from the news reports, what we are going to do is we are going to examine every failure. We will see what are the lessons that we can get from these failures and how we can implement them in order to avoid future incidents. So some of the lessons that we have over here that we are going to learn is, first thing is that, as I said, there was only a single staircase. Now, why the building should have a single staircase? Why was there a single staircase? Why was there a single staircase? And how that single staircase is a death trap, is a death trap for the victims of the building. And second thing is that we will learn about the nature of the fire. Okay, and we will learn how the smoke kills faster than flames. Now, normally when we hear about fire incidents, we think that people are dying because of the flames, but actually that's not true. Mostly people are dying due to the inhalation of the smoke, because the smoke has poisonous chemicals and all poisonous particles, and once they inhale, it will actually affect their respiratory system, and this can lead to their death. And the third thing is regarding the biometric lock problem. It was observed that when the fire took place, the biometric lock, the biometric lock, they were actually, it couldn't open. It didn't open actually. It got locked. So the people who were there inside the offices and all, they got trapped over there during the time of fire. And some of the people, they actually locked in. They found refuge in the bathroom, which was also not advisable, because the bathroom was not a fire protected enclosure. It was not a fire. It was not fire protected. It was actually a normally constructed wall. So these were some of the observations. Then we have the lessons like missing emergency exits, like how what like there was no alternate route for escaping, and what we will see what the codes require. And also we will see and also the building did not have any proper fire protection system, that there was no firefighting system, or there was no fire detection system. So if there was a presence of fire detection system, we will understand like what could have changed the outcome, like what would be the outcome if there was a fire protection system. So these are some of the points that we are going to discuss in the upcoming videos. So I hope that it is going to be an interesting session. And in case if you have any queries regarding this particular topic, or regarding this particular video, please do share them in the group, in the chat box below, in the comment section, so that I will be happily obliged to respond to these queries, and I can implement your feedback in the future videos as well. So thank you once again for listening. And before I sign off, I would request all of you to kindly like, share, and subscribe. And yes, thank you. Thank you once again. And I'm signing off. Wishing all of you a good day ahead. Thank you.